Okay, so this is Goliad. I think scary. Just like really scary. Bubblegum makes this thing that's like supposed to rule after she dies, and it's kind of like just this big creature that's supposed to kind of be like her clone-ish. It has a little bit of her DNA, but also has just a bunch of other candy stuff. So, but she's worked really long and hard, hasn't slept in, what's it, like 83 hours, something like that, and Finn and Jake say, oh, well, we can teach her how to rule and lead and stuff, and she's gotten no sleep, so she's like, okay, whatever. And this is why sleep is important. That's like the one thing you can draw from this, okay?
Oh, good night.
So, like, he takes a nap, I'll keep talking about it. So, they try to teach her how to be a good leader. Jake screws up and yells at some kids to get them back in line.
But they deserve it, damn it.
They were pretty bratty candy children.
God.
And she mistakes that as that's how you should always lead. And they discover more and more her powers, which is, like, not only that she can sort of turn big and stretch out long and stuff, but she can also mentally control people, which I think is like the scariest scene to me, just when it's like, make Finn do it, and no, you gotta do it through like, being kind and nourishing and stuff like that, and she's like, no, I'll just make you do it through my mind, and just like he just leaves his brain, his eyes go dead, he just like, his body is like a corpse that flies through this thing. It was really creepy. So Bubblegum comes and says, hey, she's too far gone, we have to stop her. Makes a clone based on Finn's hair, and we don't know if they win. We're assuming the good guys win, because they're just at a stalemate. And it
for all eternity, she
I
says.
guess so. Oh, did she say for all eternity?
She
okay,
said
so it is how I was going to
win. Gave up his life or whatever, or himself, so he could pretty much stare her down for all eternity.
Wow, that's kind of sad. But kind of cool.
It's hard to sleep when you people keep talking.
Sorry.
Oh, excuse me. God.
And eventually they they're at a stalemate, and they find out that's kind of Finn's son because it uses his DNA, and he's just like, happy birthday, Stormo. And it stops there. Like I said, the big thing that really stands out for me is how creepy this is. And I really mean that. I think this thing is already designed kind of just a really, I don't like looking at it, and I mean that in a very complimentary way, because it's supposed to be creepy. And I think the fact it does have this very innocent, childlike voice, who just can snap your neck in a second if she wanted, and she's trying to debate why she shouldn't. And it's like, no, it sounds like fun. I think I should do that. And there's something really creepy when you're trying to talk to a kid that just, does not understand, and you have to really go super, super simple to explain things, and they're not getting it, and they have all the power in the world. I've come across a lot of those kids. Yeah, a lot of those kids.
Twilight Zone episode.
It reminded me a bit of that.
Yeah.
This one was a little creepier. I guess that kid should scare me a little bit more in Twilight Zone, because it's like anything he can think, it'll just happen.
But that's the thing. It's, to me, with the Twilight Zone, it's not so much a childlike innocence. It's, he knows what he's got and he's going to use it. Goliad is more childlike. Like, oh yeah, I could totally do that if I want to, but, I'm going to have a little bit more fun. Yeah,
I think it's kind of like, if you watch a movie, you're like, okay, this character's gonna die, and they die, it's sort of like, okay, whatever. But if there's that wiggle room, like, maybe they'll get out, maybe they won't, it's a little bit more suspenseful. So I think when they're trying to reason with her, and there's a little bit more room for argument, and she's like, but why would I want to do that? Why would I want to be nice? Why, the bee? No, I can just squash the bee. See, I can bring it back to life. I haven't gone to that. No, I like this. I like this. It's that trying to reason, because then there's a lot of pressure on yourself, like, what would I say? What would I do? How can I get this kid to understand? And it's where with the Twilight Zone kid, it's like there's just nothing you can do, really.
Yeah.
Or they're making it look like there's nothing, they can do. So, yeah, I just for creeps, I like this one. But I also like that she made another one, whatever, Storm or whatever. I like that they're always at stalemate. That sort of seems very, I want to say Greek mythology, maybe there's another
Well, there are,
comparison I'm looking for.
There's sphinxes, so you got a little bit of the Egyptian mythology in there. And since, a sphinx is pretty much just stone and stays there for all eternity.
Good point too. Yeah. But you know, I mean, like those stories where it's like, you know, now they're always going to be doing this from eternity. You know, is there a lesson learned? Isn't there? Or is it just a tragedy and stuff? I don't know. I like that ending. I like that they're always going to be looking at each other. And I'm actually like, I'm sure some people are like, well, I want them to wake up, or I want to see more of it. I actually would like if they just stay there. Like, yeah, and maybe once in a while you see them in the background or something like that. You just know that's always going on. It sort of makes it a little bit more tragic, but a little bit more fascinating, too.
Well, it also kind of adds to the, in a sense, suspense, if you will. What happens if part of the building breaks where Stormo is?
Yeah,
and
that's
he
true,
falls
too.
and the connection is broken.
Or someone tries to interrupt them, or something like
you know?
that. So, yeah, could be.
Never thought of that. Thanks a lot.
Maybe the snail will come, break the connection.
Oh my god, the lich snail.
Yeah, and maybe it'll like just all go to shit.
He probably would.
That actually would be pretty cool. That'd be a pretty cool
my
plan.
God.
I'm surprised people didn't bring up, or Doug didn't bring up, when Goliad forced Jake to eat, like, everyone.
Oh,
That was pretty funny. Yeah, going through the. Oh God! I'll tell you.
swallow.
And the kids.
No, I'll tell you, my absolute favorite is when she's trying to read his
yeah.
mind, and he is constantly trying to put the plan out of his mind, and the creativity and how visual they get with it is all really funny. But the one that really got me laughing is, remember the plan? The plan is, and her head just turns into a dolphin and just makes the dolphin sound.
And then the water.
Yeah, and the water, and then and the constant. I love that sort of battle of the. Literally of the minds, I guess, you know, just like they're, and you see it both visually and mentally, just like, you know, she would start to get the plan, but then, like, you know, he come in another way and, like, you know, sort of, like, bring up the ground and, you know, fold her over, but then, like, she'll come through his hair or something, and then he'll turn into that dancing baby that he was or something, which I'm sure you're happy to see that come back.
Yes. I like
So, no, I thought all that stuff was great. I thought it was very creative.
Or the kids, the little asshole kids. See, I hate old people and I hate kids.
He hates everybody but me.
Pretty much.
You know your kid is right over there, right?
She's not a kid anymore. She's a teen.
That's true.
So
That's
she's not a
kid-ish.
Kid-ish, but not a kid.
Not a kid.
When the kids are flipping out and everything, and Jake's trying to be nice, and they're like, "Crawl into his brain!" and they start crawling into his like orifices. I'm like,
oh.
"Wow!" That's just a bit, you know.
Yeah, but be honest, if you saw 5 other kids do it, it's like, you do
Oh, I do it, definitely,
Absolutely.
without question. But I would not instigate that. I'd be like, no, we shouldn't be doing. Okay, maybe I will.
Not an instigator, just a follower.
Do you have anything to say?
I liked it too. I would like to have everybody take note. I thought it was quite interesting.
I'm wondering if it's where I was gonna.
Finn
what I was gonna
says,
say.
right at the end, Finn says, well, if Stormo is exactly like Goliad, how come Stormo is a good guy? And she's like, because he has your DNA.
I was thinking,
and
like,
your
well, what does that say
hero."
about Bubblegum?
Exactly, because Goliad has Bubblegum's DNA. So, just putting that out there.
You know, could be.
That maybe I'm not such a bad person. Maybe I was kind of a little bit right about her. Maybe.
Well, I was gonna say maybe it does make me kind of wonder if, like, because we don't know much about a lot of these characters' past, if maybe she was kind of originally like that, because she said she's too far gone, you know, so maybe it's like she knows what it's like to be at that point, but she was kind of, like, saved at some point, where she didn't have to be necessarily that, you know, and maybe she was very controlling and domineering or something like that at some point, but she leveled out.
Don't know who else's DNA got into the mixture.
Oh, the cinnamon bun, right?
Bun, that's right. Cinnamon.
Oh, that's no fun. Okay.
I forgot about cinnamon bun.
Maybe there's more to cinnamon bun, or maybe it's the fact that Finn is just innately heroic, and he's always just willing to help out. And the first thing that Stormo did
He's
was
good.
Yeah, it was first thing Stormo did was just like, I need to help out, and he helped out.
Yeah, because
Goliad had a time to kind of start maturing, as little as it was, and the first thing that Stormo did was, oh, I've got to do that? Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, what was seeing, Jake was saying, hey, here's our lesson, and the first thing she saw was him yelling at the kids, and it's like, okay, that makes sense, and then she tries it, and it works, and there's, you know, she's like, I see no reason why this would not work.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, prove me wrong, and you're not
Stormo, there's no room for error. He did the one thing, and that was it.
Yeah.
You know, because no, I was thinking the same thing. What's that say about Bubblegum? But then again, you've got to toss in what Goliad actually learned, what else got into that concoction, cinnamon bun.
Cinnamon bun.
Damn, that cinnamon bun.
God damn it.
That's too much. It's too much logic that makes sense, and now my theory's like dead in the water. It's like shit, because now I forget about the cinnamon bun thing. But you're right, like you know, she was taught it.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
you know, it was by accident, but she was taught it. You know, where the bird or what was he called again?
Stormo.
Stormo
bird.
Where bird.
Oh no, Stormo has a beak.
Okay.
Griffin or whatever. You know. You know, like, that was just, like, what he's programmed to do or whatever, and, like, that's just the first thing he sees, and he's like, you know, okay, let's go, and boom.
Yeah. I also love that Bubblegum... sorry while my voice cracks. Bubblegum!
I like my men young.
Yes! Bubblegum is trying to teach Goliad about, you know, the bird, or the bee, and the flower, and all that stuff. And I love...
That was filthy, by the way. That was filthy.
I love what Goliad says, because most people don't ever take it into account. No, the bee doesn't give a crap about the flower at all. The bee is getting what it wants, and then it leaves. It doesn't matter if the flower's dead or alive, as long as the stuff is still there. And I'm like, yeah, Goliad's got a very good point there.
Well, that's what I like. It's like just how... It's how do I teach these kids?
Yeah.
You know, just how do you teach something that's like so has gone in one direction, but you know you're right, and most of the world knows you're right, but how do you know, explain something that just the world kind of knows? It's like, explain, you know, what does the word "the" mean? It's like, well, everybody knows, but if you have to explain it, it's like, it's tricky. It's like, it's very hard to actually explain. So it's kind of like really working backwards and trying to do it fast, because it's like, if you don't do it fast enough, she's going to be like, no, I don't, I'm going to kill you. Boom.
Yeah.
You know, so...
explaining to a blind person what the color red is.
Yeah, there you go.
You can't do that either.
Did you see the movie Mask? They kind of did it. Kind of. Sort of. Did you see the movie?
You want to be Rocky Dennis, you better drink your milk.
Were you in Mask?